Good afternoon, everyone. My topic is better planning using Zoho project. Okay, so let me put this presentation in perspective first. We get asked a lot of questions like, where do I use project management? Do I need it at all? And it seems to have lots of modules and lots of ways of getting the same thing done. So I'm going to talk about how the field of project management has evolved. Some trends and changes in the recent times that have changed the way we work, and the impact and the new tools and techniques we are having to adopt because of these changes in the way we work. So let me give you some background. Most of the principles of project management evolved around 100 years back, and they were used to manage work in fields such as these, that is construction, manufacturing, shipping. So what happens here is the goal is clear. You know where you want to reach. You have to build a house, you have to make a particular machine part, you have to transport stuff from one part to the other. But the challenge is to get lots of people working on it together and organizing all the activities that go as part of this. So how people accomplished this was they built a hierarchical way of getting things done. There was a leader or commander on top, and he gave out orders to people. And the people involved were specialists in doing one small task. So that is how the flow of work took place. And the whole organization was a closed unit that focused on performing that particular goal. So this led to creation of something called the work breakdown structure, where your project was broken down into smaller chunks, and the smallest chunk was allotted to a specialist who was good at doing that chunk. So here is how it works in a construction field. You can see the work getting broken down. Okay, so the elements of project management that we talk about have been derived from this model. So you get the definition of project as a temporary endeavor undertaken to achieve a planned objective. So within a project you have milestone, like each significant phase you reach in that project is what is known as a milestone. Say you're building a house. The construction work is complete. That could be a milestone. Then you're done with the plumbing and laying the electrical wires. That's the next milestone. You're painting the house, another milestone. Doing some interior decor, that could be the next one. So as you can see, at as each milestone is complete, you are completing a significant amount of work. Then dependencies. This is how tasks are related to each other. To put it in simple terms, what it means is you can't start many tasks before you complete some others. Like going back to this example, unless the foundation is laid, you can't build the wall. So the task of building the wall is dependent on the foundation. But there could be something else. Maybe you're laying a small road to the house that is not dependent on the foundation. So these are independent tasks. So this is how dependencies work. Now, if we fit these elements that we talked about into the work breakdown structure, this is what you get, and this is how the these features in Zoho projects are laid out. You have a project on top. Under the project you have milestones, then task lists, then tasks, and you could specify dependencies between the tasks. Okay, so now this is the model that we have, and beyond this we have tools that help us visualize this model, keep track of where we are, and execute our work. So I'm going to talk about some of these tools, and probably the most popular of them is the Gantt chart. You see them a lot in computers, but they were something that came more than 100 years ago. Specifically, they became really popular in World War I, where you had to make sure that the arms were built in time and delivered in the right place. That's what this helped do. So to explain what it does in simple terms, the column there has your tasks, the things you have to do, and the top row is the date. So to put it in very simple terms, each task is a bar that begins on the start date and ends on the end date. Okay, and similarly you have bars for everything. You have bars for milestones, task lists, and the tasks. And so in one view, you get to know how your work is split up with respect to time. That is the thing that adds. And one more thing is you also get to know how much you've finished. So this is done by shading those bars. If you see the second gray bar, you see that half of it is shaded. So that shows you that 50% of the work is complete. So what this enables you to do, like once you get used to looking at this often, in one view you get to see what you've planned and how much of the plan you've accomplished. Have you done enough? So that is something that you can get in one view. And in Zoho projects, we have not just one, but 2 or 3 different views of the Gantt chart itself that give you the complete picture. We have a Gantt which goes even across projects so that you can know how your tasks in different projects are shaping up. So another visual along these lines is the resource utilization chart. It helps you quickly know which of your resources are fully occupied, who has time to spare. So again, how this works is the column here is the users. You can see 2 of them there. And along the row, we show you how much work is allotted to them and what percent is free. Like says you've given 4 hours of work to somebody tomorrow. So under tomorrow, you would see they are working for 4 hours and free for 4 hours. And we have brought out this new seesaw view here that kind of, once you get used to it again, you can understand quickly that, if you have some important work to do, how can you break it up and whom can you give it out to? Time tracking. So again, in this model, one way to measure how much work you got done is just to track the time. So we have a timesheet module where people can log the hours they've put into work. And then we have added integrations to this, like it ties up with our finance apps so that you can automatically generate invoices if your work is such that you are billed by the hours. We have another presentation coming on the integrations among our productivity apps and other apps by Raju. So he will talk more about how timesheets here can be linked to invoices. Okay, so these features that I spoke about till now could be called the classical or the conventional side of project management. They are things that we've been doing for more than 100 years and we've just brought it on to Zoho projects. But many things in the way we work has changed recently, and that is going to have an impact, and that is going to want us to go beyond these classical features that I spoke about. So let's take a look at what's changing. People are changing, our work is changing, and the organizations are changing. So I guess that kind of sums up everything. So let's take a look at each of these. Now, people don many hats. So in the earlier model, we spoke about work getting allotted to specialists. But nowadays, we find people are doing different things. They take up more roles. So to give you an example from my own team, we have marketing people who write content and put it out. They do campaigns. And what they do is once these are out, they don the hat of an analyst and they measure how these campaigns are doing, how they are shaping up. And then that's a different activity to do, but they do that a lot. So this is a completely different thing that they are working on. Self-managed. What happens here is a lot of decision now, like in the earlier model, you had a leader or commander who did most of the thinking and people just obeyed him. But now lots of initiative work happens through people taking initiative at all levels. Even people below in the lower ranks and new joinees are thinking, looking for new things that they can do. And now in this model, what happens is the seniors and superiors, they are becoming more of mentors. They don't command, but they guide people, give them direction and inspire them. Millennials enter management. So I'm sure most of you would have heard of this term, but just to clarify what I mean here, millennials are the guys who become adults at the turn of this century. So roughly their birth and growth corresponded to the emergence of internet and its boom. So these guys are used to working with the latest trends in the internet. They are the people who heavily use mobile apps and social networking for everything. So how that fits in here is the tools that these people use, the things that they look for, they closely correlate with the latest trends on the internet. So the classical tools may not be something that works best for them, and they may want something closer to what they are used to. The way work has changed. So now you saw in our previous examples that when you started off, you knew where exactly you wanted to end. You want to build a house, build a bridge. On day one, you have a good idea where you're going. But that's not how many things are happening now. So to give you another example from my own field, like many of the marketing campaigns that we run, we get a few ideas and then we start off. And as we proceed, um, and as we measure how they are performing, we change a lot of things. We get new ideas, we discuss with people, we change things, whether it is putting content on a website, whether it is running a marketing campaign, whether it is coming up with documents for our products. So lots of evolution happens. You start when you get an idea, you get a hunch that this is going to work out. And as you keep going, you collaborate, you iterate with your teammates, and what you end up with could be something very different in comparison to what you started off with. Work is becoming more complex. It has more layers. It's becoming multidimensional. So what I mean by this is, say we at Zoho have a feature and we have to launch it. How would we do it 10 years back? We'd maybe put a TV ad for it, or we would give a press release to a PR agency and we would be done. But right now we have to do many more things. We have to maybe make a video for it, write a blog post for it, create content for it across social media, and then we engage with influencers and partners to spread the word around. So you see, for the same task, there is a whole range of activities that we have to do. So this again makes you question that, do the old ways, do how you used to work long back, is it still applicable, or do you need something new? The third thing is distribution. So again, all these things are linked to how we work at Zoho and how we think about. So again, I'm back to my own team. So I am from Chennai in India. In India, my own team has another branch in Delhi and people working from there. We have an office at Austin. So Zoho has just a few marketers compared to technical people, I think under 100. But we ourselves are spread across 4 cities. So, and everything we do involves communication and interaction amongst all these divisions and the rest of our company, which is spread across the world. So we need to be prepared with tools and techniques to handle this kind of distribution and at the same time get work done. How are organizations changing? They are becoming flatter. So what I mean by that is, gone are the days when the people in the top alone took all the decisions and took the company where it was headed. As you saw in our earlier stories, there is exchange of idea and discussion across all levels. So it could be a person who just joined the company a few weeks back who gives you the idea for your next product or your next great feature. So work happens and decisions are made at all levels. Organizations are becoming more informal. So this was again something that Vijay touched upon in his presentation. Traditionally, you needed to have lots of documentation, lots of policies and guidelines, many things that lay out how work needed to be done. When the work was done, how people did it was specified. But now most of that is no longer needed because communication has become much more easier and the flow of information has become much more easier. This lets us give lots of freedom to the people. They themselves can think about how they work, when they want to work, where they want to work from, how they want to do it, and this trickles down to the culture, even the way we dress, everything has become much more informal. Work closely with external parties. So I just spoke about how our work becomes much more complex. We have to do many things for a given activity. So you may not be equipped with everything that you need in your own organizations. Say we need to make a video and a particular team doesn't have people skilled in that. They may get in touch with contractors or people outside their company to work with them. And here what happens is, this is not a situation where you can give that person some work and come back after 1 month. You need to keep in touch with what he is doing. You need to make sure that the progress he is making is in line with what you wanted. So all this again requires lots of communication, lots of interaction, and to manage projects now, a tool must facilitate all this. So how can that happen? we have many modules and we have many things that enable it, but it could fit under 3 buckets. So first is what I'd like to call social project management, where you feel you are actually browsing on a social network, but you get your projects done. And collaboration is again, lots of discussions, lots of iterations, coming up with ideas, discussing and making the idea grow and evolving work in that fashion. Mobile, again, people are distributed. People always want to be in touch with their work. Wherever they are, they want to be updated with their projects, and this has become an integral part of how we go about things. So in the context of Zoho projects, there are 3 things that you could say strongly add the social flavor to it. First is the Zoho projects feed. I will give you a quick demo of the product right now where we can take a look at it. So what happens here is when a task is complete, or when new person joins your project, something gets done, a progress is updated, an event is there in the calendar. Everything that happens across the app shows up on this feed. So it's just like looking at Facebook, but you know the latest in your project. Okay, and not just that, you don't just get the information, but you can comment, like posts here, and quickly get lots decided here. And it also comes with a typical social network kind of status. So if you want to quickly, like if you see the example here, a designer has come up with 4 or 5 designs, and he quickly wants to check up with his team, what's the best way to go forward, which are the designs that his teammates like. So he can quickly put a post, hey guys, check this out. There would be 3-4 comments saying this works, this doesn't, and he gets an idea how to go forward. So, and these people could be spread across the world. That is how lots of our projects get done through feed. Like right now, even with this presentation coming up and lots to do in Zoholics, our feeds is the place that really, projects feed is the place where lots of things start happening. And with each project, we also give you a discussion forum dedicated to that project alone. So if you have a bright idea of a new feature that you want to add, or any announcement that you want to make to your entire project team, you could put a forum post here. So this is a medium where you could have discussion, exchange ideas for that project alone, and people in the project could again comment and continue the discussion further, answer questions, throw up more ideas, and collaboratively it gives you a way to take things forward. Chat, we are all used to it. We are all on chat already. But the interesting thing here is you quickly get to chat with everybody in the project or create subgroups within them. All the chat is archived within that project. So quickly, you are working with many people. You want to discuss something. A few notes have to be exchanged. This is the place to go to get it done quickly. And again, another feature that we've been using a lot. Okay, now collaboration. So we saw how important communication is and how important it is for everybody to be on the same track. You heard about Zoho Docs and things we are doing there. You saw Writer in the earlier presentation. What happens here is Zoho Docs, we have a documents module in Zoho projects that is powered by Zoho Docs. What that means is everything that you can do in Zoho Docs, you can do it within the context of a project. Let me give you an example. You have a project. You want to quickly create a document with information that everyone in that project has to see. You open Writer and you quickly type it up and you save it, you're done. Everybody, you are assured that everybody in the project gets to view the latest version of the document. They can do everything you saw in the morning right there. They can add comments. They can do the reviewing that you saw in the earlier section, and not just a Writer. You want to do a presentation, you have show, you have our spreadsheet module, which also comes as part of doc. The full power of that is available for the projects for you here, and everybody in the project is updated with the latest one. Like traditionally, when you share documents by email, often it happens that one person has one version, another person is stuck with a newer version, and people lose out on where they stand. But all that is completely gone, and this gives me a chance to, talk about a broader theme here. You know that Docs is a separate app in the Zoho productivity and collaboration suite. Projects is another one. So here we've brought them together in a way that, each helps the other, and this is something that we at Zoho, only a company like us can do, that we have different apps, and when we see that there is a place where they fit together, we bring them together, and that gives you more power than having a document app and a project management app from two different vendors. We have a calendar view. On the calendar, it shows you the milestones and tasks and stuff that we talked about. And also, you can schedule events and meetings. Again, an important thing if you want to collaborate. Right here, everybody would get notified. Everybody would be on track. Yes, we have Android and iPhone apps. And these are not just, small apps which have the basics covered. Every module in Zoho projects is available in both these apps. So pretty much anything that you do on the computer, creating a project, assigning tasks, breaking up work the way we saw earlier, all that can be done on the mobile. You would have seen in the story that how a project was initiated in an airplane. So that is the amount of power that this brings you, and these are the kinds of things that people want these days. Everybody is doing it, and if somebody doesn't do it this way, they would obviously lag behind people who are doing them. So that is the last slide in my presentation. I can do a quick demo. So this is what we show you first. Like, we don't overwhelm you with any reports or anything. It is in effect something very close to Facebook, which you are used to seeing. This is the project's dashboard where, all the latest, as you can see, the most important things from each project is shown as it would be in a social network. Then I go to the projects view. These are the projects. This is like one place. So this account is of our fictitious company named Zillam. And when you come to this screen, you get to know get to see all the projects that Zillam is running right now. Let me go into the first one. So this is the screen you see in the middle. Is the feed for that particular project. You can see a bug there. You can see somebody scheduled an event. A milestone is updated. So the latest details come here, and you can add comments right here. So this tasks and milestone module is the place where the work breakdown structure. You have a project and it is broken down almost like a tree. This is where you'll find most of it. So you have task lists and milestones here. In the milestone view, you can see upcoming milestones, overdue milestones, and the tasks that go within that particular milestone. This is the tasks view where the tasks are shown within task lists. Let me go into a task. So again, you see the same social theme that we talked about trickling there. Even when you come within a task, it is not a report or a chart that you see first, but you can do a lot by adding comments, upload documents right within the tasks. This is the Gantt chart that I showed you. It is structured in two different formats. One is a chronology chart which arranges the tasks based on time, and milestone shows it in that structured way. Here's the resource utilizations chart and our seesaw view, which quickly lets you know who is completely free. The green ones, you can give them more work. The blue ones are tight, and the ones red, they have more work than they can handle. So quickly you get to know who stands where and what you need to do. you can even see the tasks that these people are working on. So these are the 2 tasks that have been allotted to Charles here. The calendar module is here, and an event scheduled in the calendar is shown here. There's a meeting. The milestone and their duration you can get to know, that's the blue bar, and the green bar shows you the tasks. And here is the document module. So in effect, this is like Zoho Docs inside Zoho projects. You can use everything that Zoho Docs offers you, but it would be people outside this project won't be able to see these documents by default. So everything that you need to do for this particular project goes right here. We have then the timesheets module. This is the place where you go to log hours, and we have timers for each task which you can start and stop, and it would automatically reflect in the timesheet module here. As I told you earlier, this is integrated with our Zoho Invoice app. Here is the discussion forum where you can make announcement and discuss. Pages is another place where you could maintain a repository of information that you would want everyone in the project to see. And here is chat. So I think that gives you a quick look at the app. This is especially for people who haven't seen projects before. I hope this puts a few things in perspective and where you can apply the modules of the tool.